another video up in the office, but this time it's not technical and it's nothing to do with our race cars, but it is a race car video. So I don't know how clickbaity the thumbnail or the title is. It's not really about me, it's about Scott, who's my twin brother, if people seem to get confused about that when they see us both on cameras. And even if you're not into the racing, maybe stick around, you might learn something. I don't know, we'll see. I'm representing Scott tomorrow at the Motorsport Court because unfortunately for Scott, he's accrued 12 penalty points on his racing licence, which, as the middle of last year, that changed to a 12-month period. So, unfortunately for Scott, some stuff he did last year has come back to haunt him a little bit this year. So nothing more too crazy. I'm sure while I'm talking, there's videos going up of what Scott did. So one of the times he's gone through a red light at the end of pit lane when the safety car were coming, which the safety car were absolutely nowhere near, so it was a load of rubbish really. And he ended up back on the correct lap where he should have been anyway. So if he'd have waited, it'd have been a full lap down and it'd just been impossible. He'd have never done what he did. So he would talk to the guys on radio, they'll through. But anyway, the other time, weaving in qualifying and the out lap, which I were behind him doing the same, and then a guy in a Ginetta wanted just to get on with it, because apparently his tyres would only warm up if he got on it. But we'd seen a few cars go into the gravel on the first lap of quali previously, so to me that was the thing to do, warm my tyres up and then have one good lap and get out there, but obviously the Clarks didn't agree with that and gave him some points for that. The other time, he was racing with one of his friends.
Car friend?
Thought he could get away with a bit of close racing. Turns out his friend wanted to block him under braking and moved a few times, and Scott got full on the brakes because he was going for a little bit of a send, and they made contact. He got some points for that. And the one that I agree something should have happened in a sense, but it was accidental. So none of this stuff was from being like a big bully boy trying to get to the front of the grid. And we've all made mistakes. I've done a few silly things and I won't say got away with it, but I'm not banned at the minute. That was at the end of the last race of the season last year, so Scott didn't even need to race. The idea is checkered flag, slow down, wave to the marshals, say thank you for turning up for free, you know, they're doing a job and they're all volunteers. And in doing that, Scott just didn't brake hard enough, which then meant we were a bit too quick into the last corner, a bit damp, slid out, and rather than just booting it and pulling it around and doing a nice little power slide like quite a lot of people did at the same corner at the same time, and they got away with it completely. Scott braked and just had to go a little bit off the track. And it did catch him out a little bit, not realising how slippery it was off the track, but nobody was really in any danger. He didn't do it on purpose, but he got points for that. So that's meant that as of July this year, Scott got the 12 points, and then you get summons to court, which the summons came after he'd raced in August. So whether that were right or wrong way, get it done, I'm not sure. There's a lot of rules and regulations leading up to this that are all in the blue book that you can read and see and know exactly what the outcome's going to be pretty much. Obviously, you're still at somebody else's mercy when you go up to the steward's office on the day. One of these, Scott did protest, and they just threw it out and just said, you've paid your 285 quid or whatever it cost to protest, and we still agree with what we said, go away basically. But once it gets to this court stage, I've had a look and Scott's had a look, and I can't find any framework that they're working to at this point. So I'm assuming it's somebody's opinion what happens when he goes to court. So Scott's produced a document, because he's not here, he's on his honeymoon in, where is it a minute? Kuala Lumpur, I think he is, or somewhere like that. But anyway, he's not here, I've got to go. At this point then, when Scott got the summons through, got onto the phone, spoke to some solicitors just to see what's the process, how does it work, and I'm not saying it didn't get any sense, because I weren't in on these phone calls, but it did sound like it's a lot of put your point across, say why it's going to affect you, what it's going to affect. Obviously, we've got a business to run, we've got testing to do, we've got research and development, testing plans that we're trying to go through that we've not got sorted because of all these Campbell issues. But anyway, watch the other videos to see that if you want to see. So he's put a case forward, but the solicitors, I think that we've had quotes of anything from £5,000 to £7,500 to represent him in Motorsport Court, and the outcome could still be a ban anyway. It's not pay £7,500 and go away like Mr. Loophole with your speeding fines. So it's a bit of a dodgy one here. Like how I see it, this is club motorsport, we're all going there for a laugh and it shouldn't cost you tons of money, which Scott's had some really, really bad luck this year and the end of last year. And I don't believe any of them people, definitely on the last race, nobody got a penalty. And he had some really bad contact from people just being silly.
Point of the circuit where we've a whack from the guy. He was.
They say sorry, and that's the end of it as far as everybody's concerned. Which, when it's happened to us in the past, that hasn't worked. There were a few bad ones last year in the TT Cup, TTCR, which is why Scott stopped racing in that. And I think the guy who ran into Scott on that one, he got banned. I'm pretty sure because I think he punted 3 people off in one weekend, and he'd already got 6 points, so he got banned, which is fair enough. I think if you're smashing people's cars up, I think last year Scott spent about £6,000 repairing that TT and never won a race, so it was, it weren't good. That's why he got rid of it. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to record anything other than the audio in the meeting. They might not want me to record the audio, so I might, the next time you see me, I might just be coming out of a meeting upset, angry. Or maybe I'm happy because I'm second in the championship, and if I were cutthroat, I'd be happy that the person in the lead would be getting banned. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. This video is an introduction into the unknown. Scott might regret having me as his representative. I don't think he thought I'd even bother wanting to go, so he never asked me, and I just said, why can't I just go if it's going to cause you problems not being there? So we'll see what happens. How I see this, obviously, the rules changed at a similar time to the rules changed at the penalty points on a 12-month rolling period, which I think is fair enough. It saves it being banger racing on the last race of the season. But you get a time penalty, so like I've had a time penalty that's put me to the back of the grid or whatever for silly little infringements and sometimes little bits of contact, which is unfortunate, and I apologise at the time. Every time you get a time penalty, the rules have changed to where you have to get penalty points. So you get a penalty that might put you off the podium, it might put you at the back of the grid or whatever. Then you get penalty points, which then, if you rack them up like Scott has, you get banned. So you're getting penalised twice. So it's a bit of a difficult one, really. I feel like if you've had a time penalty in the race and you've not done anything really bad, you've not cost anybody a load of money, you've not done anything, you know, if somebody else's car smashed up, penalty points, maybe that's the way of dealing with it. And then at the end of the year, you get your hand, or after 12 months of going crazy, you get your hand smacked. We're at club level motorsport. If this were Formula One, or if we were, just Google Dan Tickton and what he did. These people do want banning when they do these silly things. But does somebody need banning because he went through a red light, he got the penalty in the race? Did it need to go any further than that? I'm not sure. The guy who overtook when Scott was weaving, he weren't upset about it. He just said, I wanted to get on with it, so I got on with it. It was my choice to do what I was doing. Could it be seen that he was doing something? I don't know. You're getting basically, it's double jeopardy. You're getting done for the same crime twice in this instance, I think. And depending what happens tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Is it fair that you should have to pay thousands of pounds to be represented by a solicitor, club level motorsport? And like how I see it, I'll speak to a few people that do a lot of track days and talk to a lot of people that's done quite a bit of racing, and they think it's ridiculous that somebody could come in as a novice in one race weekend, so you do testing, quali, race, you might do 2 or 3 races. You could easily lose your licence in your first race, just doing something silly, absolutely silly, that you didn't know were a problem until you're up at the steward's office and they're giving you a good telling off. So this is not, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You'll get the emotion tomorrow, depending whether it's happiness or not. But this is not to abuse anybody or to cause any. It's just information for people. I think people are not going to know what the process is. So it's just there for that. We tend not to film everything we do, but this seems to be one of them things. So anyway, the worst case out of this, Scott's banned for life. I've had a nice day in an hotel. I think my dad's coming down with me as well. We'll have a nice meal at. We'll see Bicester Heritage because that's where the Motorsport Court is. So yeah, I'm sure I've missed a load of stuff out. There'll be numbers and stuff all hitting the screen because I've definitely missed some stuff out. But anyway, I don't want to go on too long.
So you can, what a load of barracks.
Got it done out nice here, haven't they?
I wonder what army barracks it was.
RAF.
Yeah, it was done.
That out here. Please remove shoes. Put in. Oh no. Oh no, Dad. Staying in a double bed.
You're joking.
I Scott booked this. That's that then, isn't it?
So what was that over
It's
there?
alright. This will be us tomorrow.
Is that called?
It'll be in there somewhere. So, this is the morning. All the paperwork out of the room. We'll have a wander about, eh?
That's his old Porsches, isn't it?
Spitfires have been in here. There's something getting filmed here today. Like a laboratory, innit? Some stuff happening in there. Got lab coats and everything. Fake windows. Are we in a simulation? Is it? Oh, V8, yeah. Tony would like that. So they're all columns. Guess the car, I think. Wonder what stuff were behind these walls back in there. Thickness of them walls.
This is a driver with license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving. And he didn't have a license. Oh,
So, just being in there on Scott's behalf. Good news. So, there were 5 people in there, not grilling me. I imagine if I were the one that had done something really wrong, I'd be getting grilled. But they read through Scott's statement prior to me being there anyway, so they understood what everything was. An independent guy there, just keeping an eye on everything. One of the other guys were there, just going through all the ASN's side of things and just reading out the regulations and what he should have been doing and what he shouldn't have been doing, that sort of thing. Read through Scott's some pieces from the bundle and Scott's statement, just saying basically as of now he'd only be on 7 points anyway. There were a little delay. The reason there were a big delay from Scott getting the ban, or the suspension should I say, the suspension, because the Motorsport Court headquarters were having a new roof, so that did, I don't think it helped Scott really. That probably meant it could have stopped a couple of races. Yeah, so I went through a lot of things and they just asked me for my comments, obviously saying that I got Scott's best interest in hand, but I'm second in championship, so have I? You never know. So yeah, they just asked me to comment on the instances that I knew about, which obviously the weaving in qualifying. We already said that a lot of people have been putting it in the gravel on the previous sessions, and I think we were 30 minutes behind at that point, so we thought that was the right thing to do, and it obviously weren't. The ABS issue with the TTCR cars, which were on Nanking tyres, and then that problem seems to have gone now, they're on Dunlops. And then the red light issue at Snetterton, obviously it didn't give Scott any advantage at all. If it had, not that he could have stopped properly, but the guys on the radio were telling him that he were on the right, he'd have been on the right lap if he were going out that time anyway, before the light went to red. So it is what it is. Yeah, so basically what they've said is then, if we just pay he's obviously had the penalties already, the races have been, he's had the disqualifications and what have you from all the instances, and obviously the time penalties in the race. What they did say is like a summary that a lot of people that are sat there in front of the courts with 12 points or more have done things a lot worse than what Scott's done. It's normally contact on track or arguments and problems in the pits or contact in the pits or having a little scuffle. So yeah, and none of that's the case in this. Nobody's had any sort of material damage, even the little contact that Scott had didn't cause any damage. So they basically said if we pay the court costs, 250 quid, Scott will start again with 0 points. But they did say after the decision that if they see Scott again pretty soon and he's accrued 12 points, they're not going to look upon that favourable, which is understandable. So yeah, I think it was the best it could have been. I don't think we expected that. We expected Scott to at least miss one of the races. So very happy. Not as scary as it could have been. I think if you go in there unprepared, I think it's probably a bad idea. We'll put a link to who did help us a little bit in there, just having a look over Scott's submission. Obviously it's a different thing if you're not going there, but you're still probably better off submitting something like that anyway. So we'll put that in there. Don't be paying hundreds of thousands to represent yourself in Club Motorsport, I think. So yeah, so it's obviously depending what you've got at stake, depends how much you want to put, because they did say at the end there when I said that some solicitors wanted a lot of money, that basically some people have been getting fined up to, can be up to £60,000 you can get fined depending on what you've done. So you have something really bad for that. So if you've got them sort of costs looming over you, then yeah, you do need a legal representative. But anyway, not sure what this video is going to turn into. I couldn't do any recording inside, I couldn't record any of the meeting. I think they recorded the sound, but we're not going to be able to publish that anyway. So if anybody's got any questions, we can answer whatever in the comments. So yeah, hopefully it's been an interesting video. I don't know how it can be, but we'll see. Thank you. Just finished today after a little bit of Silverstone. Some nice motors here.
Sunny at Silverstone.
Yeah.